Giving me an up-close and personal view. Hello and welcome to the JoAnne Powell Show. I'm JoAnne, coming to you from the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM.TV Hollywood. And one of the big stories that everybody seems to be talking about in this country is our health care plan, the health care reform. Right now, lawmakers in the Senate, the Republicans, are behind closed doors in secrecy, coming up with a bill that we are anticipating finding out information about tomorrow. And in the meantime, the Democrats are up in arms because they have not been included in the process. Many women's groups are concerned because those who are involved with this process are all men. And that has a lot of people wanting to know, where's the input? You have no one so far that we are aware of from the medical community that is involved with this as well. You've got lawmakers, pretty much white men, who are up there making the rules or coming up with a bill that is going to impact women, children, and people of all shapes, sizes, and nationalities. So that's something that is a concern of a lot of people. And part of that, maybe we discussed with a little bit in our last break, our last block, was that because people or those who are involved with this don't really like what they're doing, or they're not really confident or feeling good about what they're doing, so therefore they're doing it in secrecy. We won't know till tomorrow exactly the details, but someone who's joining us now to help sort through all this is Minda Wilson. She is an expert when it comes to healthcare reform. She is the author of a book called Urgent Care, 10 Cures for America's Ailing Healthcare System. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Always good to talk. Go ahead.
I think it's really interesting that the people who are involved in creating a plan for us seem very disconnected from the economic lives of the people that they're making decisions about. They don't seem to be in touch with what the real cost is for a regular person to live. And when they're making these decisions, they don't understand that it doesn't just start with getting insurance. Once you have insurance, there are still a lot of bills you have to pay. You have to meet your deductible, you have to meet your co-pays, you have to meet your co-insurance payments. And all of these things are really expensive. A deductible now is $2,500 for a basic plan, at least. And a family deductible can be as much as $10,000. So once you start making all those payments, it seems unconscionable to me that you don't consider that when you look at the cost of healthcare in general.
And this issue is not simple. It's complex, but yet lawmakers are feeling pressure from the president to kind of push something through, to kind of do it quickly. I know, to me, this is a little fast because they just doesn't seem like enough is being done to spend. I don't want to spend too much time, but a little more time, I think, for me would make me feel a little more comfortable, because it just seems like you're doing more looking into it from a perspective, looking at touching all your bases. Like you were saying, having some town hall meetings, hearing from your constituents, what are their needs, as well as talking to those who are in the healthcare industry, because there are physicians and there are nurses and you have administrators who all have a perspective to bring to the table, which we're not seeing right now.
I think one of the consequences of the Affordable Care Act was the impact of what they're calling narrow networks, which means that you don't have a doctor anymore. And if you do have a doctor and you're lucky to have one, you have to wait a significant amount of time to see them, whereas before you could just call up and say, "Hi, I need to see you." I know that the impact of narrow networks is meaning not just for primary care, but it's happening in the areas of surgery, cancer treatment, all different kinds of things. And again, because of the insurance companies trying to make money, make more profit, they're making the networks that you have access to that they'll pay for smaller and smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. And what this means is that, according to the CDC, only about 10% of the money you pay for your insurance policy, which means 10 cents out of every dollar you pay, is actually spent on healthcare. The remainder is the 90 cents goes to the insurance company to pay their administrative costs.
And that
to me,
is
that's
outrageous.
where they should be looking.
Yeah. That's outrageous when you look at what's happening to people. That, this really impacts people's lives, their children's lives. And for you to see, stats like that only 10 cents out of a dollar actually goes to healthcare, but the majority of it is going to administrative costs, meaning, salaries, these high-rise buildings, not to the care of the American people.
It's just shocking, right? Mm-hmm. And so knowing this, because it's the CDC who figured this out, which is part of our government. Mm-hmm. So knowing this, you think that the politicians would look to address the inequity in the amount of money that they're paying these insurance companies to manage our care. And that would, let's say, so last year the top 5 of United Health, the top 5 senior guys were paid $250 million. So let's say they were only paid half that. Let's say they were paid $125 million. So I think they could live on that. I don't think that it would be a hardship for them. And if you look at that, then every person that had a policy with United Health last year would be entitled to a $500 refund. Mm-hmm. Just cutting the salaries of the administrative payments to the top 5 guys who worked at United Health, and I just think that's appalling.
It is.
That's and the claim review. There are 5 people that touch every claim before a yes is done. Why do we need 5 people to look at that? It seems crazy to me.
Well, you have people that are in fear. They're scared because they're concerned that they're going to lose their health insurance, and health insurance that is saving the lives of some, or keeping some people from dying, or could keep someone from dying. So it's real. It affects people's families. I mean, it's something that is very serious that a lot of people are just looking at as a money thing. I mean, this is like a concept. Exactly. That is very important. And we were talking before the show about what do people do if they find themselves in a situation, right now they're proposing that 23 million people are possibly going to lose their insurance over time because of the bill, the one that at least passed in the House. But what do people do if they find themselves without any health insurance?
Well, the thing that's interesting is, in a certain way, people without health insurance may not be as badly off as they fear. Because the truth is, let's say you make $50,000 a year and you have to buy your own policy for your family. You're going to have to come up with $20,000 a year to pay for that policy. You don't have that. And the odds are that you're not going to be spending $20,000 a year on health care. And remember, by the time you have that family policy, you're out of pocket $30,000 before that first dollar is kicked in by the insurance company, because you have a deductible for your family. So if you look at it that way, that's a lot of money to pay for health care, and you don't really need that insurance company so much. And the truth is, if you really get sick, let's say you get something horrible, a member of your family gets cancer or whatever, you have that $30,000 each year that you would have to pay. And in addition to that, if you lose your job and you become and you don't have the money, we have a safety net. It's called Medicaid. And for people that lose their employments because they're ill, Medicaid steps in and it costs you nothing, and it pays 100% of the costs. So people have to start thinking about, instead of working from fear, saying, oh my God, what will I do if I don't have health insurance? Maybe they have to start looking at whether or not the $30,000 they pay to get the health insurance is worth it for their family. If they actually could save that money, it could be much better off. And if they didn't spend it on healthcare, that's a good savings account to do a lot of things.
But you're making people dependent on the government because, you lose your job and then then you can get free medical care, but yet you don't have an income and you're not a contributing member of, the economy. So it's kind of an oxymoron in a way that,
I agree with you, but most people when they're very ill,
yeah,
and they do lose their job,
mm-hmm.
they need treatment.
Yes.
And that's what Medicaid is there for. And then once they're feeling better, then they have the opportunity to re-enter the workforce.
Yeah.
But if you're having cancer treatments or you're facing some kind of serious illness, you may not be in a position to re-enter the workforce.
True. That's true. Anyway, we have run out of time. It's like the time went by really fast. We're going to have you come back on the show maybe after we find out what's actually in the health care bill that they're kind of working on, and we can have you back.
Do you really think we'll find out what's in the health care bill? Do you think it's good?
I think we're going to find out something. We may not find out all the details, but something is going to start tomorrow. So maybe we'll have you come on. Check your schedule for next week because we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you are watching the JoAnne Powell Show. When we come back, if you're overstressed by all that's going on, we've got a good vacation, staycation option for you. Stay tuned.
If you are an adult that began college and has not finished your college degree, let me put it to you straight. If your lifestyle and your standard of living is not becoming to you, then you should be coming to us, Oakwood University Elite Program. We are the fast, flexible adult degree completion program for the busy adult, like you.
Register today. Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098. It's time to leap.
I'm JoAnne with the JoAnne Powell Show. You're watching the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM Hollywood.
Thanks to Oakwood University and the LEAP program, I have now a college degree. So to the Spanish-speaking members of this community who feel that the LEAP program is something you should consider, I would say, ánimo a la universidad. Considere el programa LEAP de Oakwood University.
Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098.
Seize the Day Scuba for your best scuba experience above and below the sea. You'll find friendly staff, experienced PADI certified instructors, and state-of-the-art scuba equipment and gear. Join our dive club and we'll help you plan memorable scuba excursions. Immerse yourself. Seize the Day Scuba, serving Southern California. Call 949-220-0500 to create your scuba experience.
When I first started into the program, yes, I had doubts. I was really impressed with Oakwood University, with the faculty and the staff and the student body. It was a really good experience, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who was thinking about going back and finishing their degree.
Register today. Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098.